Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gun and Gear Review podcast from the Firearms Radio Network. This is episode 32. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Action Target. Today I have with me listener and reviewer Chad Wallace. Hey, thanks for joining me, Chad.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. I really like your podcast, and it's kind of cool that I get to show up and review something on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to have you on. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've kind of been a shooter since I was 12, and so like 30 years now. It's just kind of something I like to do. I've shot probably almost every kind of, USPSA, IDPA, 3-gun, cowboy action shooting, high power, just pretty much about everything out there at least once. And I just love guns, and so it's kind of neat that I get to be here and review something.
Very cool. So, did you do anything on guns this week, Chad?
I actually did. My friend has around 80 acres, about a half hour from here, and we went out and shot some trap, and then we shot machine gun because he'd never shot one before, and then he shot my AR a few times, but we were getting kind of tired by then from shooting a whole bunch of traps, so that's what we did this weekend.
Did you say shooting machine gun?
Yes, I did. I have paid my tax stamp, and years ago I bought a M11 submachine gun, and then a few years back I bought one of the 22 conversion kits for it. So that's mainly, if people shoot it, I usually let them shoot the 22 conversion kit because hardly any recoil on it at all. So most people seem to like that quite a bit better.
Now, isn't the M11 one of the easy or lowest cost NFA Class 3 machine guns to purchase?
It is. It's one of the least expensive. Even when I bought it 15 years ago, it was still the least expensive to buy. But there's quite a few accessories for it nowadays. There's the company that makes the 22 conversion kit also makes, they call it a slow fire upper to slow the rate of speed down. And then now, I forget the name of it, but somebody is making an NFA approved 5.56 upper for it that uses AR-15 magazines.
Wow. Well, I think I know what some listeners would love to hear or read a review from you next is on that guy.
I was thinking about it, thinking maybe doing a review on just the 22 conversion kit for it, because even though 22 is hard to find right now, if you have it, it'll come back eventually. So it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I bet. Well, as for myself, I just I put a scope on a newly acquired Savage 22-50 rifle and just went to the range to sight her in, and then I proceeded to purchase a bunch of reloading components for it. I bought some powder, some H380, and I got a variety of 22 bullets to try, from the Nosler Varmageddon little rock chuck exploders to just Sierra Varminter and Game King type bullets. So I'll be getting to try those out in the next few weeks and try and do some load development there. So that's all I did in guns.
Well,
so let's get right into the announcements. We are looking for more community reviewers to come on the podcast and talk about their reviews and get a little bit more interactive with the community, you guys, the listeners. So if you would like to do a review and come onto the podcast and and talk about it, be sure to email me. That's cross@firearmsradio.tv. Another announcement, we're still doing the Raid Tech giveaway for the AR-15, 1911, Beretta 92 FS, and Smith & Wesson M&P 9 LED advisors and digital counters. What these do is they are modification, or they don't modify your gun. They're just simple grip replacements, and they allow you to keep track of your ammo consumption and how much ammo you have left in your magazines. So all you need to do to enter to win is leave us an iTunes review, and then you need to email me, cross@firearmsradio.tv, with your username, your real name, and your preferred choice of the models that we're giving away. So I've had quite a few reviewers that have sent me their information, and I do appreciate that. I did get those. So today is the 20th, so my next podcast would be recording on the 27th, so that's the cutoff date. So at that time I'll be taking all the entries and putting them into a random number generator and picking the winners. So if you like to enter, this is your getting close to the wire there. So let's get right into the new product spotlight. I found some interesting guns, some from the NRA show still that we haven't covered, and the first one is a budget varminting rifle from Ruger, and it's their Predator version of the American rifle lines. So if you're not familiar with the Ruger American rifle, it was kind of their more economy model with a polymer molded stock, and just kind of like Savage has the Axis line that you could probably find in Walmarts and other kind of bigger box stores and less specialized sporting goods stores. The American is Ruger's version of that, and now they're producing the American in more of a varminter style. So the calibers are 204 Ruger, 22-250 Remington, 223, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 308 Winchester. So all of these have a scope rail installed and have a more of a varminter style barrel that's 22 inches long, except for the 308 version, which is an 18-inch barrel. And they come with a green composite stock, and it has the adjustable marksman trigger, recoil pad, full dimension bolt. The bolt has a kind of enlarged bolt handle. Power bedding, which is their integral bedding block system that just positively locates the receiver, free floats the barrel, just so kind of free floating right out the factory door. The barrel is hammer forged and it is threaded. It uses rotary magazines. It's got a tang safety, and like I said, the rail that comes included is one-piece aluminum.
That looks like a pretty nice rifle.
I think it actually fits a nice need in the market for a budget, kind of tactical, semi-light caliber varminting, and maybe just entry into match shooting gun.
Yeah, it's looking kind of like that too, and with the 308 offering, it gives you something you can actually reach out there, probably in the 6.5 Creedmoor I see, reach out there pretty far with.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the 308 is actually a much shorter barrel, 18 inches. So that allows you to, if you're hunting varmints or actually hunting deer, you'll be able to fit that in the back of your truck pretty easily.
Exactly.
And,
I used to have
in rifle cases.
Right. I used to have a 26-inch barrel 308, and you couldn't hardly lug it around the forest when you'd go hunting. It was just way too long. So the 18-inch would be really nice.
So we're looking at when you're talking about varmint rifles. Another big thing you're thinking about is the total weight. You don't want your rifle to be 8, 9, 10 pounds when you're trying to lug this into the field. So we're looking at a weight of 6.62 pounds. So that's pretty good. As far as the retail, suggested retail is $489. Compared to the standard American rifle, theirs are $449. So you're looking at just a little bit extra for the Predator models. It'd be nice if the stocks came in different color options other than just the same moss green, but I don't know. I haven't looked into the aftermarket availability. If you'd be able to use this as kind of a build, like what people do with Remington 700s, and replace the stock with a Bell & Carlson or an HS Precision, and kind of use it as an alternate building platform.
Yeah, I think if they start making aftermarket stocks and stuff like that for it, it might become a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I mean the box magazine is a big plus. For at least varmint shooting, being able to pop that mag out and unload your rifle, put it in the truck, and then move to the next location, get out of your truck, pop the box magazine back in. That's pretty nice to do. It kind of looks like it's Ruger's kind of direct competition to the Savage. I mean, it's got an adjustable trigger that's got like a little safety hinge on it, just like the AccuTrigger. Free floating stock, kind of like the Accu stock. It's kind of interesting. I'd be quite interested to see a direct comparison between this and the Axis as far as which one's the better performer. Savage is making really good rifles, but Ruger's no slouch either, at least when it comes to pistols. So I'd love to see a side-by-side with these two rifles. But the Ruger American Predator is going to be available in June 2014, so another month. And you can find that, Ruger.com, or go through your local gun shops. So next up, I actually have an air pistol, something we haven't really talked about air pistols or air rifles on the show. So this is from Gammo, and it's the P900 IGT air pistol. So it's a break barrel .177 caliber pellet pistol, pretty much. It looks pretty. When I first saw it, it looks kind of reminds me of the Duck Hunt blaster on the original Nintendo. It looks very kind of futuristic, but in the 80s sense.
Yes, I get that exactly by looking at the picture. But
yeah, have you shot any air pistols, Chad?
I have, but not in years. I used to have, I can't even pronounce the name. It was a German target pistol that I used to shoot when I was probably 14. And that thing was super accurate, and it was great because you could use it. It was a break action also. And you could just take it, shoot it in the backyard. You didn't have to worry about, where's the pellet going to go, really. And it was actually excellent for practice.
Sounds like an Anschutz.
The thing was it wasn't. It was, you could only get them in Germany at the time, and I had a relative that lived there, and he brought it back and was able to. Back then, it was you put it on a plane and just flew it over here, and it was really nice. But I still, for the life of me, can't remember the name. It was some oddball. I think the company's still in business. I think that you can get like Olympic 22 rifles from them.
Very cool. So on this Gammo, the velocity, it's only 400 feet per second. So that's not very fast. You're definitely not going to want to be hunting with this pistol necessarily. It's pretty slow for a pellet. It is single shot. It's a pneumatic pre-compressed system with IGT technology, which I'll let you know what that is here in a sec. It's recoil and vibration free. The cocking effort is 21 pounds. It's got a precision rifled barrel, and their accuracy out of the box, they're claiming, is 0.2 of an inch group at 10 yards. So I don't know, at 10, I'd have to do math there, but that seems to be 2 MOA. So I don't know if that's necessarily good for an air pistol. The trigger is a 2-stage. That first stage is adjustable, so that must mean the take-up travel distance is adjustable. The sights are fiber optic, and the grip is just a rubberized grip, kind of an ergonomical design, non-slip checkering engraving. It only weighs 1.3 pounds, so it'll shoot any .177 pellet. And the trigger pull, the weight is rated at 4.5 pounds, so a pound less than a factory Ruger trigger. So this IGT technology, let me make sure I let you guys know about that. It's inert gas technology.
Is that what it is? They boast about it for their actual air rifles as delivering more terminal velocity, less vibration, and greater precision, up to 1,300 feet per second in their rifles. Why they're bragging about it on a pistol that only has an FPS of 400, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I understand maybe bringing that system into a pistol platform and really getting the recoil and vibration dampered, but it doesn't seem like it's really increasing the velocity, which you can't really expect all that much velocity with something that's not powered by those little 12 gram or 20 gram CO2 cartridges. So the MSRP is only $79.95, $80. So if you're looking for something to do some target shooting in the backyard, if you live in city limits, and you can't go blasting off 9mm in your backyard, then this might be something that you look into and possibly get some pretty nice precision out of just 10, 15 yards. I know there's a few people that they practice in their garages. They buy one of the little pellet traps. It'd be really good for something like that.
Yeah. Well, and then you don't have to worry about ventilation and really lead problems being kind of vaporized in the air. You don't want to eat lead pellets, but it certainly makes it easier to shoot in your garage, without having all the doors open and stuff. So if you're interested in that, go over to gammausa.com and check out their pistol. It's under the Air Pistols link. So next up we have the Crossbreed Purse Defender, and this is a holster with a backing option. So for the ladies and the men who have maybe a satchel or a messenger bag and wish to have a holster option with a flat backing for your flat vessel, this would be what you'd be looking at. So it's the Purse Defender. We're looking at a price of $52.95. It comes in both left and right hand. The gun list is, of course, from Crossbreed. It's pretty extensive. It's got all the popular models on there. As far as 1911s go, 3-inch barrel only. So they don't make this for a full-size 1911, so be aware of that. looking at like maybe like a micro carry, or one of those small Kimbers. Extra Velcro, and so the backing looks like it's entirely covered in Velcro. So you can actually have like a mag carrier included for an extra $32.75. That's got a Velcro backing. The holster is, it's I say Velcro, but I should be legally saying hook and loop. So the holster body itself would be would the Kydex, and then it's got hooks on the back of it, and the actual backboard has the loops. It might be vice versa. Can't tell with the picture. So would essentially take the holster and have it stick to the Velcro, and if you move it over to the side so you have a little bit more room, you can get the extra mag carrier and stick it on the Velcro pad or the hook and loop pad as well. You can also, if you're feeling like a New York reload, you can get an additional holster for $39.95, an additional holster body chassis, and you can actually have two holsters, two handguns on the same Purse Defender platform. So I say New York reload because if you don't have over 7 rounds, you just ditch the gun, you grab the next one. And that can be left or right-handed as well. So if you've got like, Boondock Saints style, shooting, both hands, one right-handed, one left-handed, that would be the way to go. Of course, I'm being facetious there. What do you think? Obviously, it's kind of meant more for purses, but
actually, the thing I really like about it, being that even though it's for purses, is that the picture I'm looking at, it covers the trigger guard. It looks like the gun kind of points down towards the little shelf. And so if it's floating around in a purse, I know my wife's purse is full of all kinds of stuff. So, you're not going to get something to poke into the trigger. So you won't have any problems there. And hopefully, nothing will get shoved down the barrel because it's kind of resting on this little shelf it's got. So it looks kind of like a pretty good deal if off-body carry is what your only option.
Yeah, it helps keep it upright, which is something that is if you're going to carry in your purse, how do you keep that gun from pointing muzzle down and grip upwards and in the ready position? This helps orient that, and as well as kind of keeps it from, like you said, getting kind of mixed around with the other things that you have inside the purse. Now, as a man, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, what else would this work well in? A laptop case, any satchel or messenger bag. Also, a console inside a vehicle. A lot of people, if they have a gun inside their car, they might have a holster underneath their dashboard or in their glove box. If you have a console in your vehicle that's wide enough or deep enough, I should say, this could help keep your pistol upright and kind of up toward the side, so it's not taking up the entire space if you've got like a covered kind of hidey hole.
I bet also with those kind of hook and loop holsters, the way it attaches to that plate, you could put some stick-on hook and loop, like in your car, wherever you would actually need it, and just take the holster part and attach it so that, like, if you got in your car, you could, take your gun out, put it in there, and then you could position it even more than somewhere you actually might want it.
Yeah, get an extra one and just screw it to the underneath your desk. So if you could, essentially have it underneath furniture as well.
Yes.
So if you're interested in the Purse Defender, check that out at crossbreedholsters.com/pursedefender.aspx. So let's get right into the sponsored product review or the sponsored product spotlight. Action Target. If you go onto Action Target's store and you use the promo code Radio15, you'll get 15% off your order. So even if you click on one of the banner link on our website, or go directly to firearmsinsider.tv/action-target. Make sure you still use your promo code radio15 to get your 15% off. So the action target product that I wanted to talk about this week is the rimfire plate rack. Anyone who's seen action shooting, whether it's single action shooting with cowboys or kind of competitive 3-gun, you've seen the plate rack, and they can be pretty beastly and built actually really, really tough and weigh hundreds of pounds and cost over $1,000. Well, Action Targets, they've kind of made a rimfire plate rack meant for .22 long rifle only, and it's at an affordable price so that you can kind of get in on the same speed shooting, a little bit competitive between you and somebody else, or just honing your skills in a nice little package. So for an MSRP of $249 minus the 15% by using our promo code, you get a plate rack that's got 6, let's see how many inches. It's got 6 rimfire steel targets, or paddles. They're 4 inches in diameter. They're made of 1/4 inch AR-500 armor steel, and they will fall when hit. So shooting the rimfire plate gives you instantaneous feedback, and it gives you the ability to practice transitioning from left to right, right to left. Maybe you work work from the outside in, alternating. It's kind of good solo practice, as well as getting a couple of your buddies to join you and see who can do it the fastest and the cleanest. It comes with a 30-foot cable that is attached to the reset lever, so you don't have to walk all the way to the target and flip all the paddles back up to reset it. You can just yank on the cord. That's really nice. So another really big advantage to Action Target is that they don't just hammer these things together willy-nilly. They really think about the construction and the durability of the armor, or the plates. So there's no welds. It's got a no weld design, and the reactive knockdown action are pretty ideal for shooters. So you're not going to hit any welds with your bullet and bust them. There's no nuts or bolts that are exposed that you could possibly hit and potentially screw up the function and the takedown of this. Another nice thing is that it's not difficult to really take down and load into your vehicle. It's only 50 pounds. The dimensions are 58 inches high and 36 inches wide. So of course they recommend a shooting distance of 10 yards at the very minimum for shooting with your .22s. And then you can choose with the stand height to be 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, or 4 foot. So you've got a little bit of options there. And it looks like it would be pretty easy just to, I don't know whether they've got wing nuts, to just simply take it, disassemble the rack off of the stand and fold it up and put it into your vehicle. And then in the back, how these plates are single piece plates that fall over in their hinges. So it's a design that's going to be strong and have a lot of longevity of use and be able to survive repetitive use. So really good bang for your buck.
The other nice thing about steel targets is they're reactive, and they're great for new shooters. The new shooter gets instant feedback if they hit the target.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, shooting paper, that's okay and all, but shooting something that makes a sound and falls over, there's just something about it that makes you want to do it again and again and again, and it's kind of for getting somebody young or just new to the sport to really enjoy it. Having something like this really helps. So looking at all the reviews on their site, all pretty high. Someone's saying that they've used it with their brother-in-law with a shot timer and using it for just a few weeks, they've improved their speed, 300%. And so they said the only downside is they didn't buy 2 of them. So if you want to check that out, go to store.actiontarget.com and then look at the steel targets and look at the reactive steel, and you'll see, actually no, not reactive steel, that's the full caliber stuff. You want to go over to the rimfire steel, then go to the rimfire plate rack. And if you're interested in getting an actual plate rack, they do have that as well. But like I said, the weight, the materials makes the price difference quite large. So I'll bring up their plate rack on a future episode. But you're looking at, for the full size version, $1,300 minus 15% with the Radio 15 promo code. But that's a pretty big difference, and 250 pounds. So you could get the full-size plate rack for yourself, the rimfire plate rack for your son or daughter or wife, and you can race each other that way too. That'd be fun. So let's get right into the main topic, panel of discussion, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about my Fox Tactical Advanced Tactical Hipster. You might ask yourself, what the heck is that? It's got tactical twice in the name and hipster. So no, it's not a bushy beard, skinny G wearing, Pabst Blue Ribbon sipping bodyguard that follows me around. It's actually a little bag, kind of a messenger bag. They call it the hipster, obviously, because it sits on your hip when you're wearing it. Comes in a multitude of colors, actually. So black, OD green, coyote, red, safety orange, digital woodland, multicam, and terrain digital, which just looks like your digital camo. And then I might have mentioned black. So they've got a couple. This is from Fox Tactical. They've got a couple different bags that some are a little bit more covert or inconspicuous. This thing kind of screams tactical. I picked it up because it was only $30 locally at my store, and I'm going to do some summer traveling, and it'd be nice to maybe do like an off-body carry option for when I'm walking around in just board shorts and a light top. Not really ideal for inside the waistband or anything like that. So I'm gonna try carrying with this a little bit. So it's got, by the name tactical implies, of course, it's got MOLLE straps in several places. So kind of on some of these strap wings on the front, there's a top pouch with MOLLE straps on there. There's a side pouch with MOLLE straps. And then it's got pockets and pockets and pockets. It's probably got more compartments than your mother's purse or your wife's purse. Probably a little bit more than I'll really need. And I'll probably take me twice as long to find things because I can't remember what pocket I put them in. So I'll just start off with, on the outside, work my way in. There's a mesh pouch on the right side of it, so that would be for like a water bottle or anything that you want to store on the outside of the bag. It's got a little, it looks like paracord cinch, not quite paracord, just regular string cinch. On the other side, there's a vertical pouch. It looks, you can put like an iPhone 5 in there, or your medical kit, your wallet, your sunglasses, anything you need to. All the zippers have these pull ties. I forget the name for those, but basically plastic ends that assist in opening and closing. And then on the left side wing, there's a much smaller pouch with a tiny little M buckle. And I don't know how I mean, you could barely fit a baby Snickers bar in there. So I don't know exactly what you're supposed to put in this pocket, like mace or anything that's smaller. And it does have a small little pouch for a pen. So if you wanted to put a Sharpie in there, that way if you're walking about and you need to write something down, you can have a notepad in here and bust out your Sharpie pen real quick. This is kind of for like the OCD tactical hipster because it's got so much freaking stuff on it. So as far as those pockets that I mentioned, they don't have anything else in them. And so the flap itself has a zippered pocket on the front. That's right behind the Velcro where you can put your patches. So I got my America flag and my I Love Guns and Coffee patch. You got to represent how tactical an operator you are. So there's a zippered pouch there. Also, in the very back of everything, there's a kind of a concealed zippered pouch. And this is actually quite large. So this is what they're saying you can conceal a firearm in. So they're calling this the concealed holster pouch. There's no moly webbing in there. There's just 2 strips of hook and loop. And so they provide you with these 2 like straps. So I think like you're supposed to shove the barrel of your gun in that loop, and then this just sticks to those 2 Velcro straps on the inside to help keep your gun vertical. It's kind of like what you'd put your hammer in on your tool belt. I mean, it's just a loop. It's pretty unintuitive. I mean, you could adjust, how high it is on this main backing strap, but it's pretty, I don't know, pretty weak. I would have liked to see a different option. Maybe like a built-in holster or MOLLE straps to get a attack vest type of holster and stick that in there. Something that's going to protect the gun from getting bumped around too much and really secure it down there. So that's my gripe about that. I mean, I don't know if I could stick that purse defender in here and help keep that gun upright. That might be something that'd work, but I don't know. I'll have to figure something out there. So then what's that?
Maybe you could use that purse defender to stick in there to hold the gun. It would actually looks like it would work really well.
Yeah, I'd have to check out the dimensions to see if it would work. So this is, let's see, if I go on to the foxoutdoor.com website where they sell this, it's 11 by 12 by 8, so I don't know if I have to double check on that purse defender to see if it'd fit in it. I don't know if my ego could take it, or my pride, not only having this tactical man purse, but putting a purse defender in it.
Nobody will know.
Well, now they will. I just broadcasted it.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. So when you this main M buckle, you flip open the main flap, and you've got another little unzippered loose pouch here. And so then you have a dump pouch, which has a suture or a cinch on it as well. So kind of like a laundry bag, but it's got a smaller. Let me see if I can get this even more open. But it's got a mesh pocket in there as well on the back, and then on the inside, that's kind of the biggest compartment. So if you had a light jacket or a shirt, you can stuff it in here. Or if you're shopping, throw your stuff. If you're a photographer, you can throw your camera in there. This would make a pretty legit camera bag. You got plenty of space in there to throw that, and you could cinch up this kind of waterproof cover, so that way if it's raining or downpouring, you've got your important stuff in here, and it's not going to get wet, especially when you put the flap over it. Also, if you've got loose stuff in there and you take a tumble, if you've got this cinched up, that loose stuff's not going to go flying everywhere else. So that's about everything. I think I covered all the pockets. As far as the back of it goes, it's got some nice cushiony pads that's got kind of a double mesh, so it kind of breathes, it won't sweat, and also if you've got a lot of weight, it's not going to kind of rub you the wrong way. It's also got that same pad up in the shoulder pad. The strap's fully adjustable. Looks to be 1.5 nylon strapping. It's got a nice M buckle. And then on the back, actually, when I grabbed this off the shelf, it's got a little Velcro hook. So if you don't want to use the strap, you can kind of tighten the strap up and then just secure it right back here. So you could hang it for storage or whatnot. So basically, if you throw your keys, your wallet, your cell phone, your gun in there, and hope to God you never forget it anywhere, because that's a lot of stuff to lose. That's important. So one review says, had one of these bags in black for over 2 years now. Bought it to replace my fanny pack, which I use to haul family stuff when we're out and about, or a field bag. Quite comfortable to carry all day long, as long as you don't overload it. Description says the mesh pocket is for a radio or flashlight. I use it to carry a 20-ounce water bottle. It's fairly water resistant, but I took a couple half-gallon Ziploc bags for additional waterproofing in the heavier rains. He must be from either Oregon or Washington. Much handier than the butt pack it replaced. After 2 years of hard use, there is no discernible wear to the bag. And that was an Amazon.com review. So the MSRP of these is $56.95. They retail online around $40. Like I said, I bought this at a store for $29.99. I'm not sure why it was so much lower than what you can find it online for. You can get it on Amazon. Make sure you use our affiliate link on the Firearms Insider website. You can also find it on Optics Planet, eBay, or at any military or tactical shops. So my rating is I gave it a 7.0 as just good. Pluses: the main dump pouch has the cinch to secure loose items and bigger ones. The seams and plastic buckles seem well made, secure. The Velcro strip on the outside, so you can put all your elite moral patches and stuff. And the shoulder strap and backing mesh pads add to the comfort and for wearing this all day long. The minuses: I do not like the tiny mesh netting, both on the inside as some pockets and on the outside, because I find that they're prone to stretching and they always eventually get holes in them. Whether you put something in there with a sharp corner or you set something else on top of it that had sharp edges on there, that netting always gets holes in it on any piece of luggage, backpack, whatever I have. So I don't much like those at all. The included holster is crap. It's just a looped Velcro strap for the barrel. So they could have done a much better job. I mean, if this was a UTG bag, it would have at least had, a holster that, was a literal holster and covered the gun and the trigger guard, which is like incredibly important for your carrying a gun inside a bag. You got stuff moving around, get in the trigger guard, shoot yourself in the foot. It's no good, man. It also screams, I may have a gun. It's too tactical almost. Looking at their website, I see they've got some. This is the advanced tactical hipster. They've actually got a regular tactical hipster with no advanced in the title, and that looks much more inconspicuous, kind of like a camera bag. I probably would have preferred to get one of those. So if you think you're gonna carry this around with a firearm, and it's kind of like wearing 511 pants. I mean, after a while, so many people recognize the MOLLE and the tactical features of the item, and they think you have a gun. So that's my review. Now, Chad is going to cover his review of FireClean.
Yes. You know, it's one of those oils. They say it's an oil cleaner and carbon, I guess, disperser, I guess is what they kind of claim it to be. And I figured I shoot enough 22 that I was looking for something that was going to work better than just the normal ATF or something else that I was using. And so I went online like most people do, and I found FireClean, and every review I read said it was great stuff. So I said, okay, I guess I'll buy some. It's a little expensive, but the product goes a long way. It's not like you're going to use a lot. Even if you have lots of guns, you'll still probably not use very much of it. And so I bought some, and I was just amazed. The stuff, I put some on, cleaned the guns, put some on, took them out, shot them, everything went great. I'm like, okay, it's oil. But then when I came back to clean them, everything just pretty much wiped off. I didn't even have to really touch anything. And in the review, I showed a couple pictures of my AR-15 22 conversion kit. And the pictures, there's one when it's a little bit dirty, and then I just wiped it with a paper towel in the next one, and it pretty much came out spotless. And when I did this, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And so I started using it in other products, and more importantly, what sold me on it was I used it in my submachine gun with the 22 conversion kit. And it allowed me to shoot more rounds of 22 before it would gum up and start not working. And when I say more, in that case, when I run the suppressor on it, I used to get right around 400 rounds and it would start giving problems. Well, with the FireClean, I went like 650, 700 rounds before I'd clean it, or before it would start actually causing problems. And so the product pretty much sold me. I'm like, okay. So then I did a little more research. Said, okay, they claim it's a gun oil, repels carbon fouling. It's non-toxic, odorless. It's biodegradable. It sticks to the metal. They say it's heat resistant. I don't know if I ran enough heat through it to see if it caused problems. And they marketed it for suppressed firearms. And I must say that in the guns that I have that are suppressed, it makes cleaning way easier. And the stuff is just amazing, is pretty much how I put it. It's odorless, like I said. It destroys carbon contamination. It supposedly breaks up the carbon, so if there is carbon on something you put it on, it'll soak into the carbon and then break it up when you fire the firearm. And like you said, it lubricates, it cleans, repels carbon. It's sold in 2 fluid ounce bottles, which you don't think are really that much, but it goes a long way. I can't tell you if it prevents rust or helps with preventing rust, because I always wipe my guns down if they've been in water or something anyway. Like, I live in Oregon, so it rains a lot here, so they do get wet. So I haven't seen any difference in any other oil I wipe it down with. The best thing about it, I think, is, like I said, the cleaning. They say it's a cleaner. I gave it a negative because it doesn't a negative on that aspect, because it doesn't really clean that well. But what it does do is then the next time you have to run a patch or something down your bore, it does make it easier to remove the carbon. I haven't really got it on any clothing to see if it washes out of clothing or if it just kind of stays in there like other oils. I know my wife always complains if she's doing my laundry and there's oil stains on it because she's got to try to get them out. And so I don't know if that's a problem with it or not. It seems to last a long time. I put some on. The oil doesn't like disappear like some of the other oils do. It seems to be on there when I go back in a month. It seemed it made some of my rifles function smoother. I put it on my AR, and it's just super smooth when you cycle it, which I thought was another good plus. I I gave it a huge rating of 9. Running it on suppressed firearms, full auto firearms, it just is spectacular. I gave it some pluses on the carbon buildup. You know, it's non-toxic, so I don't have to worry about the dog licking it up if I spill some. A small amount goes a long way. Like I said, it's just a great product. I have some Amazon people said it's the best I ever used. One guy said surprisingly great. Another one said awesome stuff. So you figure other people are saying it's good stuff, so I believe it is good stuff. Got some Brownell's reviews. Basically the same thing. The best oil, an amazing product. So, you know, another problem I found with it is nobody in my local area actually carries the stuff. So in that case, you can either order it from Amazon, which of course use the Firearms Radio link, so that they get a little bit of help there, and then you can get it at Brownell's. And I noticed that when you buy it from Amazon, you can only buy it in a 2-pack, but if you buy it from Brownell's, you can buy a single bottle. And so if you're in the market for a really good oil, especially if you shoot a lot, shoot suppressed firearms, shoot automatic firearms, I think you should give FireClean a try. It's actually a really good product.
It seems like it's pretty similar in some of its claims to Frog Lube, but I also know from experience that Frog Lube is not a very good cleaner as well.
Correct.
Have you read anything about heating the metal before you apply it so that it opens up the pores and lets this product kind of get in the pores, so then it cools down, and then the next time you're using it, it heats up and kind of releases a little bit of the product? Have you heard that?
I have not heard that. The FireClean website didn't say anything about that, and I know, like with Frog Lube, you know, they say yes, heat the metal up, and then it'll go into the pores. And I kind of wonder if it just lets the gun heat it up itself. I figure it's got enough heat there because they don't mention anything about having to heat the metal up.
Yeah. Well, I actually know quite a few people that have tried Frog Lube and haven't been pleased. So, you know, if you're looking for a Frog Lube alternative that's also non-toxic, the biggest difference is if you don't like that methanol or eucalyptus type smell that you get from Frog Lube, that minty smell, and this is, you know, odorless, so there's the biggest difference there. And might also perform a little bit better for you if you're just looking for something for cleaning and making it so that particles and debris just rub right off when you're done. But yeah, I can imagine shooting 22 fully automatic. That's a big mess to clean up.
Yes, and then you add a suppressor on it, and it makes it even worse.
Oh my gosh, it's like the perfect storm.
Oh yeah, in fact, I've had that particular setup dirty enough that you could see the 22 bullets were keyholing at like 20 yards, just from the barrel and the whole thing being that dirty.
Wow. Well, thanks for doing that review, Chad. It was awesome, and even great that you were able to come onto the show and share it with everybody.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show. It's kind of a neat
Absolutely.
experience for people. If they haven't done it, they should get a hold of you and try it out.
Yep. We just use Google Plus, so you do need a Google account. And we just record using Google Hangouts, and it's pretty simple. It's optimum for you to have a microphone set up and headphones, but if you get a hold of me, we can talk about that and figure something out what's going to work best. So let's get right into the tech, gadget, or app segment. And I felt like doing a laser this week. So I was kind of looking around at some of the more budget lasers. And so I found that Laser Max has an actual rechargeable green laser, which is something that I haven't seen yet myself. So it's called the Genesis, and it's rechargeable via a micro USB port. So the MSRP is $259. So it's definitely in the range of some of the other laser manufacturers, Veridian, Crimson Trace. So you're definitely in there with, as far as shelling out quite a bit of change for your laser. This has a highly visible pulsating green laser. The battery is lithium ion. It fits virtually any firearm with an accessory rail because it's a pretty compact and slim profile. I'd say that they've got it here pictured on it looks like a Beretta PX4 Storm. So it fits that rail pretty well. It does hang down right about the same line as the trigger guard. So if you're looking for a laser that's got a much flatter profile, I'm pretty sure Laser Max even has lasers that are a little bit flatter as well. But the Genesis, that USB port for charging the laser, that was something that I looked kind of interested in. So we're looking at a runtime of 1.5 hours on that battery, and a battery recharge time of 2.5 hours. So if you're in a duty type position, law enforcement, recovery agent, security, and you have a laser on your sidearm or your main rifle, you could potentially be charging the laser in your squad car or back at wherever you have a USB port. So that way you're not really having to worry about battery life and constantly having to replace batteries. The adjustment is, of course, adjustable for windage and elevation. The wavelength the power output is 5 milliwatts, MW. The weight is 1.4 ounces, and it does have a 1-year full warranty. Or I don't know if it's full, just a 1-year warranty. So you can get that on LaserMax's website, lasermax.com. You can also find it on probably Amazon.com as well. And I'm actually going to check Brownells to see if they on pistol. Chad.
Yes, sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, sorry about that. I was asking, have you ever used lasers on a pistol?
I have tried them out. I've never actually owned one, so it's kind of I see their purpose, but I just am not the type of person to actually hang extra lasers on my pistol.
It's understandable. So I'm not finding it on Brownells. They do have other, of course, LaserMax products as well on there. If you're interested in getting of course, I know green lasers are better than red lasers as far as visibility, distance. A little bit better in the daytime. With the bright sun can sometimes kind of diffuse that red light, so green's a little bit easier to see. I know it doesn't perform as well in colder temperatures, when there's snow on the ground. I had a Viridian for a while and it worked really good, but I could tell those minute differences. This doesn't look like it has a adjustable strobe function like many lasers do. It doesn't look like it hangs necessarily out of the profile of the pistol. Don't have anything to really snag on, but it being of a fairly different profile, you would definitely have to go for like a custom holster or a generalized holster to make room for it.
I wonder if they put a little like dust shield or something on a little charging port, or if, I would assume they would.
Yeah, I think I can see on one of the pictures there's a dust cover that's blocking the port, so that looks like it would just be something that you'd pull down and then put back into place.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I just didn't see it on the picture I was looking at.
Yeah, it's that slightly phallic shape. It's pointing up. It's right below the logo on the laser. If you're looking at the right side view.
Right.
So yeah, check that out at lasermax.com. So there's no iTunes reviews up. So if you haven't already entered to win, I encourage you to leave us an iTunes review because you have until next, or actually May the 27th to do so. And then I'll start picking the winners for the Raid Tech giveaway. So as always, listen to other podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network. I plug in again the AR-15 podcast with Reed Snyder and J.W. Ramp. Everything to do with the AR-15 black rifle. It's my favorite. It's probably your favorite. Give it a listen, and you can never really hear too much about the AR-15. So send questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, Cross, at firearmsradio.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at www.firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And be sure to check out the Firearms Insider website for future reviews and coverage of industry events. Well, thanks again for joining me, Chad. It was great to have you on the show. And I look forward to future reviews from you, especially that M11.
Yeah, I'll see if I can write a review on that. I have a few things I can probably write reviews on, so I appreciate you having me on here, and I look forward to writing more reviews for you guys.
Great. Well, shoot safe, have a great week, and enjoy the weather, and I'll catch you next time.
Okay.